Welcome back to our chat room. Like I told you earlier, Eefy Ike is in the house. Join me as I welcome her formally to Saturday
how are
night.
you?
It's a pleasure having you.
It's lovely to be here.
You're welcome to Saturday night. And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, who is Eefy Ike and what does she do?
Eefy Ike is an enigma. Woman
Coming
of
from the
many
horse's mouth.
faces. What is it that I don't do?
I asked you that question earlier. I said, what is it you don't do? Because before you say Jack, oh, I'm doing it, I'm into makeup. Before you say, I wrote a book, I'm a model, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, what is it you don't do?
I know. I have to keep busy. I have to keep developing myself. And I have to keep contributing to society. Otherwise, I'll be a nuisance. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, I like your hair.
You do? Thank you. It's my natural hair.
Your natural hair.
Yeah.
What's the style called?
This is just one of the Eefy's many looks.
Really?
It doesn't have a name. So you just say, oh, that's one of her looks.
That's one of her looks.
Exactly.
Okay, do we call it, what do we call it now?
It's like a punk. It's very Grace Jones. Like I channel Grace Jones sometimes. I can channel Cleopatra. I can channel Thecla. I can channel, like the legends that I love. That inspire me one way or the other. I like to channel them.
So
yeah,
Grace Jones is
Tina
one of
Turner. I channel her a lot. And then I have the original
Eefy Ike.
Eefy Ike. Yeah.
And why didn't you bring that Eefy Ike today?
Oh, darling, that Eefy Ike is fierce, okay? Today we had to turn it down a little bit so people can get to experience the substance in my soul.
Speaking of substance, when I first met Eefy Ike, we were at an event, and they brought her up for an interview, and I'm like, I looked at her head to toe. I said, she's not the type I want. She's too cosmetic. I want somebody else. And I remember Dixon saying, trust me, she's a bomb.
You'll be surprised.
And of course, when I came, I'm like, okay, all right, let's hear the bomb come out. And of course, when she opened her mouth, I'm like, I had to confess to her. I said, come, I underestimated you.
Well, people always do because, I don't know. It's common everywhere you go. People tend to define you by your appearance. Your physical appearance. But that's deceptive because I always say, the cover of a book, you can't judge it by the cover of a book. Or the cover of a book, it's only, a topic, right? And the book is a depiction of life, and life is a journey. So go beyond that topic. Just browse, and focus. You may actually see and hear things that you don't expect. And that's Eefy. I'm a provocateur and I'm a shocker at the same time. I provoke people, and then I shock them. They say, what you say and the way you look are not in correlation. I go, yes, because I'm a child of destiny. The Bible says that God uses the foolishness of the world to confirm the wise. He always used the wrong person to deliver the messages of light.
Okay, are you also a pastor?
Oh, no, I am not, but I'm very spiritual. I'm in tune with the Holy Spirit.
Interesting.
I can't do anything
In fact,
without
I'm
God.
sure the day they will write the book on you, it will be bigger than the dictionary. It will definitely be bigger than the dictionary because you seem to have different parts all wound up in this body.
Well, darling, I'm God's masterpiece. What can I tell you?
Interesting. You see, the reason why I brought Eefy Ike to the program tonight is I spoke to her on a couple of issues and I found out that you will definitely learn from her. I mean, coming from her background, coming from where she's coming from and getting to where she is today is an inspirational story. That's why I brought her on. And of course, during the course of the program, we'll get to unravel her. Now, Eefy, where do we start from now?
I don't know.
Because you are just...
Okay, let's start from Eefy, the motivational speaker.
Okay.
Okay.
For 5 minutes. Eh?
Yeah, because I think that's
because if I let you run now, you could run.
Okay, I will try to make it short.
Okay.
The Eefy, the motivational speaker.
Right.
Every day I
what
wake up.
What has informed that aspect of you? What has pushed you to that aspect where you say, okay, I need to motivate people. I need to, make people understand that life is what it is. Life.
Well, I came from a lot of struggle. That's my foundation. I was afflicted as a child, and I grew up struggling. I grew up wanting to be accepted. I grew up wanting to be like every other person. I grew up wanting to be normal, whatever normal is. But it was impossible. So one day, I woke up with this dream that was actually persistent, that I need to rise from my own shambles. I need to get up and dust the sand and keep moving it. That I have a purpose, and that purpose must be fulfilled. So instead of whining and crying and wallowing in my failure and, constantly complaining about my flaws, I need to discover my own talents, develop them.
Okay, now let's pause. Let's hold that thought for a moment. When you say you were afflicted, the audience, they'll be wondering what exactly. I mean, is it one story that we haven't heard before? I think they really need to hear your story.
Well, I think no struggle is peculiar to you. Lots of people go through all kinds of challenges, and a lot of people are afflicted every day, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental. I was physically afflicted. I was burned. So I grew up with half of my body burned. I mean, if you go to my website, everybody already know the story.
What's everybody?
People that go to my website, just go to 3esfy.com and then you hear more about it. But I had to rise from that.
Okay.
I had to keep living. I had to do something else. My body couldn't possibly be the only thing that God gave me. There is the beauty within me, the talents, the wealth of talent inside everybody.
Okay.
And I had to develop that. And one of it was the motivational speaking, going to give back.
Okay.
Extending my healing.
Okay.
Healing others through my own pain, through my own struggles, sharing how I survived and how they can survive as well.
Okay. At this moment, the audience will need to know, when you say you were afflicted, yes, she was just a victim of the cultural...
The ignorance of tradition.
The ignorance of tradition.
Which is actually still going on in Calabar now.
Okay.
Those single little kids, out as abnormal, or they'll say, if you have a little gift that it's not common, they believe that it's because you're a spirit.
Okay.
It's something supernatural. Unfortunately, in our society, we're very spiritual and very religious, but we relate everything unique and everything exotic and beautiful to the devil. We never, give gratitude to God for anything. Like, for instance, one of my books, I've written 4 books. My first book, Peering Through the Depths of Life. Look at my cover, there is an eye. Do you know that Nigerians, instead of appreciating that I sat down and I wrote a book about inspiration, the first thing they thought is that I'm Illuminati, that I'm in a secret society. I ask, why would you think that when you open the book, it's all about healing? It's all about Christ. It's all about helping people. Why would you judge the book by the eye? Oh, because the Illuminati, the eye is their symbol. But God created eye. Have you forgotten that God created eye? What was my inspiration? My book is called Peering Through the Depths of Life. I'm peering through the depths of life. How
did you get out of that thing? How did you get out of it?
It's not something, I walk on my toes and I slink, I glide when I walk. As a child, I sit up and they think, okay, that's not normal.
And because of that?
A lot of children walk on their toes. I learned to walk on my toes. What's the big deal? In America, where I live, they have the ballet dancers in Russia and Europe, everywhere.
Exactly.
They dance on their toes. So I think it's just primitiveness.
And your parents allowed it?
My parents were not around. Yeah, they were not around. There's nothing they could do. But, I thank God today that I'm okay. Because the way I see it now is I was afflicted so that through my pain others can heal. So I use it as a healing contact. I don't condemn myself anymore like I did when I was a child. I had the low self-esteem. Now, I sell self-esteem. So I grew and I healed, and I'm trying to extend that healing. That's why I'm writing inspirational books.
You see, the one thing I'm really grateful for is civilization.
Yes. Oh.
Because for a 2.5-year-old child to go through that kind of experience, and you're standing tall today.
They're marrying off little girls. What do you call that? The ignorance of tradition. They're marrying off little girls. They're selling little girls. And
did you ever think at that moment, did you ever consider taking your life?
Darling, I tried to commit suicide at age 8. I was 8 years old when I tried to kill myself. What would you do when you're struggling, when you're emotionally stifled, When you wake up every day and they tell you you're not normal, that you're not like other children, that you're less than them.
Simply because you walk on your toes.
You know, because you walk on your toes and you have mannerisms that are not common to, you know, to other children. And then they tell you you're not good enough. And that's what they do in this society. And I preach it all the time. Parents, be careful what you tell your kids. People, be careful what you tell other people's children. Because they're not like your children or because they're not like you, doesn't mean they're less human. It doesn't mean that they're not good enough. It just means that it is in alignment with their destiny. God created everyone the way he did for a purpose. For instance, people say, oh my God, how could you be this beautiful and this? You look very cosmetic. You always, you know, make up and always, and then you're a motivational speaker. I said, are you kidding me? God created me. God gave me the messages to go deliver to the children of my generation because they are the lost children.
Probably if you didn't have that experience, you'd probably be towing another line today.
Exactly.
Maybe just reserved, just, you know, your own small comfortable world.
Or maybe even arrogant and rude and a bitch, excuse me my language, because I'll be like, oh, look at me, you know. But what happened, that built the character within me. That inspired compassion. That made me to be more sensitive towards humanity and want to take care of older people because I know what it feels like to live in emotional bondage. I know what it feels like to feel ugly. I know what it feels like to be underprivileged, to have nothing, to be mocked. I know what it all feels like as a child. So now I grew up understanding it. And I want to make sure that every other little girl out there don't feel it. I want to make sure that every other young boy out there don't feel that. So when I come around them, you know, everybody say, Eefy, why are you calling every girl a princess? I said, I call them princess because I want to inspire them. I want to heal their self-esteem. I want them to feel beautiful. When someone calls you a princess, automatically you feel like a princess. And that should influence your attitude and everything you do in your life.
I'm still trying to come to terms with the fact that a less than 3-year-old child is taken from her home and set on fire because she walks on her toes.
It happened at home when the NEPA, what do you call NEPA now? I think you've changed that.
Okay.
There's something you guys
Light
call
went
NEPA
off.
now. Yeah. We didn't have light, it was in darkness. And I and my brother were in a room waiting for the maid to come and bathe us. My mother just had a new baby and she was in another room bathing her baby. So nobody saw the face of the people. We're just too little. I was 2.5, he was 3.5. So what could he do? And then after that, they locked the door behind them. So I was burning. My brother was crying and screaming. When the maid heard, you know, my voice, and she came, the door was locked. So she called my mom and called neighbors and they had to break down the door. They thought it was my brother that locked the door. How could he have done that? He's a little boy. So I actually grew up thinking that he was at fault. But then I remembered, no, how could he be at fault? Because he didn't lock the door, right? Because what happens is that when people can't get hold of the cause, they look for something and blame it on that thing. You know, we all kind of do that. You understand? So it's a pity. I really would like to, any organization out there that is fighting this, I want to participate. I want to be a voice. This is my prayer every day. Father, make me a global voice for change, for healing, for victims.
Did those people, did they ever own up to this?
Of course not. Of course not. As a matter of fact, everyone is shocked how I turned out. Everyone is shocked to see this Eefy. Because this is not the Eefy they know growing up. I was the crying Eefy. I was a child that would always do this because of the season, the dry season. My scars couldn't take it. So every dry season I'm itching, so I'm always scratching. And then I'll have sore skin every year for over 15 years. Okay, so you can't expect somebody like that to turn out to be the girl that designed bags, designed jewelry, writes books, a motivational speaker on youth. You know what I'm saying, image consultant? You don't expect any of that. You expect the girl to either be dead. In America, the doctors that treated me said, we expected you to be a drug addict. We expected you to be depressed and be on, you know, antidepressants. We expect you to be an alcoholic. How come, Eefy, that you're not a drug addict, you're not an alcoholic, you're never depressed, you're always full of life, you're always happy. Even our patients miss you. They know, when is Eefy coming back? Eefy makes me happy. And then they say to me, you are a messenger. You've got healing inside of you that other people need. And you must go out there and do that work. So that was part of my inspiration as well. They, you know, encouraged me to do what I do.
Where is that place? Where are you from?
Well, actually, it happened in Port Harcourt. I was born in Port Harcourt, but I'm from Ohajimeba, Ubuta, Imo State. Yeah, but you know, I grew up in Port Harcourt.
Okay, and it happened
Partly
in Port Harcourt.
In Port Harcourt, yes.
It happened in Port Harcourt.
In Port Harcourt, yeah. And then no.
Are you school there?
Yeah, partly there, and then I went abroad. And I got married at 17. Part of why I got married early, because you know, when you were half dead, and somebody comes and says, "I can give you life," the first thing you will say is yes. You're not going to even think about it because you already know that where you are is hopeless. There's nothing happening. You have no chance. So you will say yes. Otherwise, at 17, what do I know about love? I didn't even know myself. I hadn't even discovered myself. But I had to let someone else take control of my life because I had no life. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So he was the angel God used to give me a second chance at life, and I acknowledge that in my book as well.
Is he a Nigerian?
No, he was white. He was actually Italian.
Did you say was? Are you using the word was?
Yes, was, because you know I'm divorced.
Okay.
Yes. No, I'm in a relationship now, but you know I'm divorced from that marriage.
Okay.
Because the marriage wasn't meant to be. He was just meant to be an angel.
To bring you out of the dark.
Out of the darkness, exactly. And we're still friends. Because, you know, he wanted me to come back after many years. He's like, I miss you. You need to come back home to me. I said, I can't.
But don't you think you probably feel used?
No. As a matter of fact, you know, it was exciting. Last year, his younger brother contacted me on Facebook and said, oh, my God, we'll be looking for you. You know, your ex-husband actually has been looking for you, and he'll be so happy that I saw you. He wants to visit you. I said, yeah, give him my phone number. I'm in Nigeria right now. I'm doing some work for my country. He's like, work? Your country? What kind of work, Eefy, that could you possibly do? Because they knew the Eefy in pain. They knew the crying Eefy. They knew the weak Eefy. So they're surprised at this Eefy. Who is this person? This person with so much strength and the voice, you know, for healing, for change. They don't know that Eefy. So he flew down from Dubai to Nigeria to see me and to tell me, I am happy you left me, because who you are right now and what you do is great for humanity. And you would have never been that had you stayed with me.
So why did you leave?
And so I said, well, he was great. His family, fantastic, wonderful. They looked after me. But you're talking about a child in pain. How could I possibly appreciate love? You cannot appreciate any good thing one does for you when you are emotionally stifled and mentally enslaved. You would never be able to appreciate anything. So no matter what he did for me, his family, I mean, I called his parents mom and daddy, and people thought I was adopted. Because they treated me like their child. The mother would take me for shopping. She loved my figure and everything, and they thought I was like a doll, you know. But I could never, ever be happy. I cried all the time with the new clothes all the time, the new jewelry. It doesn't matter. I always cried. So I felt this, I don't deserve these good people, and he doesn't deserve me crying all the time. It's time to go.
And you packed up?
And I packed.
He wasn't broken-hearted?
I just ran away. I didn't even
He wasn't
pack.
broken-hearted?
Of course, he was heartbroken, and he felt so much pain, and the closure was when he came to Nigeria last year, because I ran away ever since. He never set his eyes on me until last year. And I was
okay.
many years ago.
When did you really experience that turning point? When did that turning point come in your life when you say, okay, it's enough. Enough is enough. I need to step out of the dark and come into the light.
Well, it's in a combination of things. First, the people that I interact with in the community where I live in Beverly Hills. There are these people that always appreciate. Every time, there's something about me. People gravitate to me to share their struggles. I don't know why. And then as soon as they share, I'm eager to help. Always with the words of wisdom. I just think the Holy Spirit just infused that, instills in me, and I convey. And for some reason, everything I say help.
Was it like an incident that occurred that defined that turning point
that's
for you?
Actually part of it. So these people that always encounter me are the ones that keep telling me, have you ever thought about having a talk show? Have you ever thought about being a motivational speaker? And I said, everybody keeps saying that. Even doctors say that. They go, Eefy, you should try that. You should write a book. Your book will help a lot of people. And I always say, what am I going to write? I didn't study journalism and psychology. They go, Eefy, write the way you talk. It's enough. And lots of people are going to get healing through that. And then I started having the series of dreams about, me focusing on what he has given me. I always have this dream. Why are you always whining about the things that elude you? Why don't you focus on the things I've given you? I've given you so much. Everywhere you go, you command attention. Just by the way you look, and then you open your mouth, it seals it. Everybody want to be your friend. Every woman want to look like you. Are you still whining about the scar, the pain, the burn, the this, the that? Focus on what I've given you. You are a messenger. You need to focus. Stop crying. So that dream was persistent, and I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? It's true. I have so much. What am I even complaining about? I live in Beverly Hills. I have all the nice things. I'm beautiful. Forget the scar. The scar cannot define my beauty. I'm beautiful inside, because that's why all these people gravitate to me to share their pain, because they believe that I have something that God is giving to me to share with them. There is no beauty that is beyond that.
You're also into modeling.
Yes. And then I designed my own clothes. I designed them, you know. I mean, I keep patronizing the Dolce & Gabbana, the Armani, the Missoni, the Versace, and I love them all. But it's time now to also patronize and promote the Eefy brand, my own stylist unit. Right? If they can do it, I can do it as well.
And you're doing it.
And I'm doing it.
To be honest with you, I could talk to you for the next 1, 2, 3 hours. And we could even turn this place into like a podium of inspirational talk. I'll definitely bring you back. There's no doubt about that.
I'm here in Nigeria doing, youth program for healing and for change. It's called Patriotic Movement, and we're set out to promote peace, unity, patriotism, and to raise change vanguards in Nigerian youths. And on the 29th, we're having an event called, the agony of Nigerian children. We're launching Synergy, a symbol of peace and unity. You cannot use the abduction, the bombing, the shootings and the rape and all of that to change anything in Nigeria if good governance and effective leadership is the problem. You can't induce that by all of this. You know,
the day you so decide to become, to vie for the position of a governor, a president, a senator, a House of Rep, you have my vote.
You're so sweet. I think I'm just being a Nigerian woman, a Nigerian youth, and I think it's my responsibility, like I think it's everybody's responsibility, to contribute to the healing and building of this nation. It takes a collective effort to resolve a national challenge. There must be synergy. Do the right thing. Nigerian youths, I want to talk to you. Nigeria beckons your energy. Nigeria beckons your patriotism. Nigeria beckons your soul. Nigeria beckons your innovative skills. Nigeria beckons. We cannot heal Nigeria unless all of us synergize, unless there is a collective effort, synergy. We cannot heal Nigeria. We can't keep waiting for Americans and the Europeans and all these people to come and fix our home. You have to learn to fix your home. We have to learn to fix our home. You have no other home. This is your only home.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a beautiful speech. That was a very powerful, touching, passionate, and re-energizing speech. I'm moved. We'll bring you back again, and then you tell us more about the other areas of Eefy that makes Eefy Ike. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you. And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Tell them to bring our girls back.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. They're hearing you.
Yes.
They're hearing you. So it's a pleasure having you on Saturday night. We'll definitely have you once more. All right?
Thank you.
So viewers, on that note, to say thank you so much for staying tuned to this week's edition of Saturday Night. In my own small corner, in my own way, like I'd always say, be kind to one another. Good night.